Welcome everyone to the Proven Knowledge Podcast. I'm your host, Anthony Church. I'm a music producer from Northeast Ohio. I began this weekly interview series to give you different perspectives from artists, producers, engineers, and other individuals in the music industry. In each episode, we touch on not only what has helped the person succeed, but we also touch on what has shaped them into the person that they are today. I hope you're able to gain some real proven knowledge from the show, and that it helps elevate you on your own journey to success as well. Let's get into it. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to episode 292 here on the Proven Knowledge Podcast. Today I welcomed Andre Williams. Andre is a producer, but he's also the founder of I Swim with Sharks, an amazing distribution platform that helps independent artists get their music heard, and really just, expand their reach overall, which I think is super important. And I got connected with him through his colleague Tori and obviously Dom. Shout out to Dom for always booking amazing guests on this show. We talked about the origins of I Swim with Sharks, what led him to want to give back to the independent artist community through his own experiences at a label, and really just what I Swim with Sharks stands for as a brand. And I really believe in what they're doing. Definitely check out the website that he mentions at the end and get in touch with Andre if you're looking to work with him and his team. And I want to thank them once again for being a part of this. Thanks to Andre for sharing some of his story, but also thank you once again to Tori and Dom. And without further ado, let's get into this one. So this is episode 291. Once again, I want to shout out Tori and I want to shout out Dom for making this connection. And Andre, I'm happy to have you here, man. So thanks for taking the time.
Likewise.
Absolutely. And we usually have the guests kind of just give a brief introduction about themselves, because you obviously wear multiple hats. You do multiple different roles. So just let the listeners who may not know you, what you do, just kind of let them know what you're all about.
Yeah, man. Andre Williams. I'm the CEO of I Swim with Sharks Incorporated. I Swim with Sharks is a distribution company where we do tier 1 distribution. And one of the main things that we do is we invest in a lot of the artists that we distribute, but we also do consulting as well. So we're kind of like a one-stop shop. And when people release music these days, we release music with a purpose. And our motto is we let the world decide. So instead of artists just coming out saying, hey, I think my music is amazing, and then you put it out, we like to put it out with strategies and answer questions. Make sure that the public knows and your demographic knows who you are, why are you releasing your music, when is it coming out, where can you listen to it, how can you hear more. So we've released the music with purpose, so we don't just distribute it and just put it out and say, hey, figure it out. We want to make sure that we are an incubator and we have the infrastructure for artists. And not on top of that, we also like to educate artists on what's going on. I Swim with Sharks is an analogy, and the music industry is the shark. What we want to do is educate the artists and have them able to swim with the sharks in the music industry so they can be able to maneuver, learn, and ultimately in the end be successful.
Yeah, and it's great to have that platform to educate people as well, because obviously I think a lot of the problems that people get into is because of the lack of education that they have with the business that they're dealing with, which is a huge thing. So shout out to you for doing that. And I guess I would love to know, where did that whole idea come from? Because you're obviously a producer yourself. You've been involved in the industry for a while. So did the idea come from your own experiences, and then you wanted to kind of give back to others and kind of help them navigate it in a different way?
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. I think that it came from a lack of fulfillment. I've executive produced and worked on some amazing projects, and finally made it to the top where I was actually working at Universal Records. And if anybody knows, that's one of the top 5, right? Like at that particular time, that was my end-all be-all goal, to be able to work at that top level. But when you get to that level, what you realize is the labels are machines, and when you're in the middle where you're wearing an executive hat but you're talking to the talent, you hear all these amazing ideas and things that the talent want to do. But at the other end, when you're an executive, you still have to manage your budgets. You still have to get checks and balances done correctly. You still have to make sure you get approvals. You still have to, the label has a particular idea that they want for this particular artist, and the artist is creative. So they're thinking about all these innovative things, and they've sat down and how they want to structure their project and how this song goes this is the order, it's the simple things from the order to the songs to what they want to wear. It's an investment for the label. Mm-hmm. The label is investing a certain amount of dollars for you, and they want to get it back. But the artist, it's their soul, it's their passion, it's their art.
Yeah.
So once I reached that pinnacle, and I realized that, hey, I really wasn't, in my eyes, helping the artist like I thought I was, or I thought I was going to be able to once I reached that level. COVID was a reset button for everybody, and it reset me in the fact that it allowed me to sit back and work with a lot of individual artists and realize that my passion was letting them do things that they wanted to do and not stunning their growth and not being the person that says, hey, you can't do that, because that's not what we see, right?
Yeah.
As a distribution company, I'm responsible for putting your music out, but one of the beautiful things about it is you get to tell me your innovative ideas, your artistic views, your passions, the way you envision things coming out, and I don't have to say, we can't do that. Mm-hmm. Now my answer is, let's see how we can do it together.
Yeah. I think that's great too, because you're helping guide them toward their overall vision and their overall end goal, which is something that I think can be, like you said, it can kind of be lost, especially when you're dealing with the bigger labels, because they already have so much going on anyway. It's like certain artists could probably get lost in the sauce in a lot of ways. So I think it's a great way to be able to do that. And I guess that leads me to another great question, which would be, what is kind of the criteria for the type of artists that you guys tend to bring on and bring into the fold and start working with? Because I feel like you obviously you can't work with everybody, right? And some people just aren't a great fit for what you guys do. So what for you would you say is the criteria for, like, this artist right here, we can work with this person because they have like the right attitude or they just have the right goals? Or is it like all of the above has to kind of align to start working?
It is aligned, but the good thing about us is we're not a record label. Like, you're not signed us, so. And you can look at different labels, and when you look at them, you can say, hey, this artist fits this label. Mm-hmm. Like Def Jam, it's a certain amount of artists that fits Def Jam, or a certain artist that fits Universal Records or Atlantic Records, right? For us, since we're distribution, we distribute anywhere from holistic music to jazz to pop to K-pop to Christian music, all kinds of music. What we want to do is we're sitting down with artists, and our main concern is, okay, you have good music. How are we going to roll it out correctly, right? Like, how are we going to put a marketing plan together? Because anybody you can sign up for TuneCore and distribute this day. There's nothing wrong with that. Mm-hmm. If that's what you want to do, you can just sign up and put your music out. But we're trying to create an infrastructure for artists that are serious about the business of music. And yes, you're going to be passionate, but do you want to learn the business as well? And we're trying to do it business appropriate and do it right.
Yeah.
So for us, it's sitting down with those artists that have a vision, understand it, or want to learn, like you said, want to listen, because we come across artists that don't know what split sheets are, don't know the difference between publishing, masters, what a DSP is. Mm-hmm. They don't understand the difference between a distribution company and a record deal, right?
Yeah.
They don't understand anything at all. What they're doing is, hey, I'm creating music. I've got a beat off of YouTube. I didn't even purchase it, and I'm ready to put it out. But they don't understand the intricate steps that go in between that. And what we try to do is walk them through those processes and teach them. And if those artists are ready to learn the business aspect of it, then that's for us.
Yeah.
We try to be very open-minded, because this day and age, really, you don't know. We don't decide, again, what takes off the people do, right? Sometimes people can be attracted to your music for a bevy of reasons that have nothing to do with that it's good music. I'm pretty sure there's a couple of songs that you listen to on the radio or on whatever streaming platform you listen to right now that you're probably like, how the hell did this make it? But people like it, right?
Yeah.
So our mindset is to give those people an opportunity to hear it, and if they like it, then they will decide to listen to it and ask for more.
Yeah. And it's really like bridging the gap between the artist and the listener themselves, and you guys are kind of playing that big role in the middle, being able to do that. So hats off to you guys for being able to do that for a lot of artists out there as well. And I guess, because you guys have developed a lot of relationships with a lot of different companies, and that's obviously part of, what you're offering to people through your platform. Where do you guys kind of see that evolving moving forward, and what are kind of the next steps here? Let's say in 2026, since we're about to kick that off, what are kind of the next steps for the brand and the company?
Man, for us now, we're getting into a lot of consulting. We're also getting into opening new platforms for artists that, again, the educational piece, like doing direct to consumer for artists as well. There's a lot of artists that, this year, 2025, has opened up a lot of eyes into the streaming industry and how the payouts, and we've heard anywhere from small independent artists to successful artists talk about, hey, man, why am I not getting paid this amount when I have this many streams? But what we're doing is educating artists on there's other opportunities such as direct to consumer where it might not be as accessible and as easy as clicking on a Spotify or Apple Music link. However, if you set it up correctly, if you market to your demographic, then guess what? You can have people say, I want to pay you $100 because that's what I feel like your music is valuable, the value of your music is, and that's what I feel like you deserve. Whereas we just talked to an artist the other day, and he was kind of upset because he had 5,000 streams and only made, I think, $35. And if you do the calculation on the math, even though we don't agree on those things, that's not what we dictate, but that's what the Spotify that's what the streaming route dictates. So I think as more and more artists understand and start getting more educated on the payouts from streaming, whether it's Apple or Spotify, whatever DSP, digital streaming platform that they're have an intimate relationship with, I think it's kind of going back to the trunk now, but in a digital way. And computer and music have bonded now, so things are changing. So for us, it's about letting people know the evolution, what's coming up next, and being able to be in the forefront of that change, so we can make sure that the artists that we work with are able to be able to partake in those things as well.
Yeah. Hey there, hope you're enjoying the episode so far. I just wanted to take a quick minute out to let you know about a couple different ways that you can support the podcast. One of the ways is by clicking that support the podcast button within your streaming platform. That is if you want to be a monthly supporter of the show. You can contribute either 99 cents, $5, or $10 a month. So that's the first way, and that's the more traditional way that we've had now for the last couple years. The other method that we actually just recently introduced is from our good friends over at Ko-fi. Ko-fi is a virtual tip jar. We have set our limit to a minimum of $10, but you can go make one-time, one-off donations. So if you visit ko-fi.com/the Proven Knowledge Podcast, you'll be able to donate. And all these different forms of donation go towards getting new guests every single week, getting potential sponsors on board to do giveaways, and overall just making the show better for you guys. So if you want to do that Ko-fi link, it's ko-fi.com/the Proven Knowledge Podcast. Otherwise, again, look for that support the podcast button in your streaming platform if you'd like to be a monthly supporter. And I just want to say thank you guys for your contributions. And without further ado, let's get back into the episode. I will say, I feel like there was more pushback on the Spotify Wrapped this year than I've ever seen in the past. A lot of people would post it, and a lot of people would be like, why are we still posting these? You know what I mean? Because the numbers aren't really equating to like the dollar value of what people see, like you just said. And then there's obviously platforms like Even and Bandcamp that are doing more of that direct to consumer, which is very important. I think you're going to see even more things pop up kind of like that. But also I think that there's a lot of people doing it where they're just doing it where they build their own website and they're just selling it directly from whatever base that they have or an email list or something like that. So I think there's definitely some interesting things to explore there. So I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys can do, to kind of help artists in that way as well. And I guess, is there anybody else you want to shout out as far as people that might be involved with the company, or many artists you want to work with, or just anybody you want to give a shout out to on this episode?
Shout out to everybody this has been an amazing year for us. We've added people. TC, as you know, TC came with us the middle of 2024. she's been a great asset. To DJ K Young, Shade 45, she's been with us since the beginning. My business partner, J Pop Richardson, he's been a big part of our evolution and being able to grow into what we're doing right now. We have junior A&R such as Brass and Jay Klon. We just signed an amazing rock and pop A&R in Hannah. She's located in the Midwest, but she's been bringing us amazing rock artists and rock acts as well. So we're trying to become we have a diversity in our group, and we operate that way because we want to be able to help any kind of genre of music that comes into our presence. So even shout out to you guys. This helps us by you guys posting this and having the opportunity, giving me the pleasure of working with you and interviewing with you, for artists to be aware that there are companies out there that are willing to educate, grow with them, create an infrastructure, and do it the correct way.
Yeah, and again, it's an honor to have you here as well, because I think this is probably the first time I've interviewed someone that runs a distribution platform, and I know a lot of independent artists, like you said earlier, they don't really understand what that even means, or like how to get their music out there and things like that. So I think it'll be great for people to hear that. And kind of hear that there's different options as well, as opposed to the ones that everybody knows, like TuneCore or DistroKid or something like that. Yeah. So it's definitely very cool. And I guess, we'll get into some of these life-related things here. For you, as far as, you are someone that is running a business, you're heavily involved in everything that's going on there. What are you doing to kind of, decompress? Just anything you're doing outside of work, because I know that there's probably many hours you put in every single day, every single week. What do you think you're kind of doing to recharge the batteries and kind of refuel? And what's that looking like for you recently heading into the new year?
Man, recently I've been kicking ass on NCAA 2026 and a lot of Mortal Kombat.
Nice.
I'm a gamer, man.
Nice,
Believe
man.
it or not, gaming really relaxes me.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of times where things are on my mind when I pop in the game and I'm really just thinking when I'm playing. It's amazing how relaxing it is. And on top of that, I've picked up hot yoga. As we get older, especially men, I think men, their mental health is becoming something where we're more aware of it now. Yeah. When I was younger and I did certain things, people would say, "Hey, man, whatever, man, toughen up." But now you realize that, oh shit, I have to think of things differently. I might be affected by these certain things, so I take relaxing and decompressing just as serious as I take working. But just understanding as well, where I'm in life, I'm blessed to have the opportunity that I have, but taking as much time for myself as I might work harder than I work harder than I relax, but when I do relax, as you said, I decompress, and I decompress for a reason so I can get back to it. Yeah. Because that's as important as well. If you're not mentally and physically stable, then you're not going to be able to put in the hours that you need to put in to win, right? So those two things go hand in hand. Yeah. But man, games, relaxing, and just taking care of myself from a health standpoint, eating correctly. Those are some of the main things I'm doing right now. Yeah. I know in NCAA, you probably want to run the score up on the opponent as much as possible. You know what I mean? Yeah, man. So, I'm a dynasty guy, man. I'm a dynasty guy. So, I don't know if I could play online. That probably would stress me out even more if I did that. Yeah, for sure. But I'm a dynasty guy. For sure. Well, I got to say, it's definitely important because I always like to ask about work-life balance and things like that. So it's good to hear that you have, a pretty good grasp on that and what's going on, which is super cool. And then we're down to the last few questions here, and these are ones I ask on every single episode. The first one is... Yeah, for sure, man. The first one is, if you could go back 10 years ago, give yourself any piece of advice, or maybe not change anything at all, what do you think you would do? Man, you know what? That's a good question. And I think that I would tell myself two things. I would tell myself that in order for me to win, I have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. That's the only way you're going to grow. Now, when I'm very uncomfortable, I get excited because I understand that it's a growth spurt, and I know that might sound stupid, but those are something, as soon as you get on, when you're uncomfortable with certain things, it helps you to either think straight and get out of that particular position, or you can fold and say, man, what am I going to do? I'm not that type of person. So I would tell myself, hey, embrace the uncomfortability. And from a good standpoint, a good mental standpoint, I would also tell myself, winners do the things losers don't want to do. You know, whether it's being uncomfortable, whether it's working the extra hours, whether it's spending money that you don't want to spend, whether it's having conversations that you don't want to have. The reason why we look at Steph Curry, or we look at Jay-Z, or we look at anybody in life, when we see that they've reached a particular growth spurt, a particular totem pole, and you're like, I want to get there. We see the end goal, unfortunately, because of IG and things that we are privy to have these days, but we don't see what it takes for them to get there. And all those people have done the things that probably everybody else wouldn't do. That's where they're at their goal. Yeah. So those are the two things I would tell myself 10 years ago. Be comfortable being uncomfortable, and be prepared to do the things, if you want to win, that losers will not do.
Yeah. I feel like that builds mental fortitude, a lot of it, you know what I mean? And it makes you more, I feel like at every step it makes you more ready for the next one, which I think is super, super vital for anyone kind of doing anything, even if it's not music related. That's really just something that everybody can kind of take from. And we flip that question, then we say 10 years from now, where do you think you envision yourself, in your career? Where do you see the brand at, and where do you just see life in general?
10 years from now, I hope that I Swim with Sharks has several successful artists that we can use as test case scenarios, not just from a financial standpoint, but from a standpoint where other artists can look and say, hey, this is something I want to be a part of. I think we have those artists now. We signed some amazing people, whether it's Fendi Frost, whether it's the Winans, which is a big Christian-based group, whether we've had the privilege to work with R-Truth with WWW, with the World Wrestling Federation. We've got some pretty big people that we're working with now, big companies that we're working with as well. But I would like to continue to grow those relationships so those companies and those particular people can look back and have artists look at us and say, listen, they took this path. It's worked for them. This is the path I want to take. And, that's where I want us to be.
Awesome. A lot of continued growth. So that's going to be incredible to see it play out for sure. And do you have any final words of wisdom today for the listeners before we get out of here?
Yeah. The most vital part of the music industry is education. The more you know, the more you're worth in any form of life, and really in any genre or job that you have. That's true, but especially in the music industry, because we have gatekeepers that do not want to relinquish their information. Please reach out to us. We do classes. We're going to start doing classes in January called Music Matter Mondays, where it's free. You sign up. You can hop on. We talk to you about distribution. We talk about attorneys and legalities. We talk about publishing. We talk about royalties. We talk about all these things. We talk about direct to consumer. And if you have any questions, please contact us. I Swim with Sharks Inc. Official on Instagram, or go to our website, www.iswimwithsharksinc.com. You can message us. We'll respond back to you and have a conversation. And let's see if we fit, we can help you out.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, Andre, I got to say again, man, thank you for stopping by. And I want to say thank you to you for what you're doing for a lot of independent artists out there, because I don't think that everybody that has the opportunity to do that for people is doing it. So I think it means a lot that you are actually putting what you know to work and trying to help people. So keep doing your thing, man. And I'm excited to see, how the brand evolves and how things keep growing in 2026. And, a few years from now, you might have to stop back and we'll see, how things are moving.
Hey, I love your platform. When they told me about this, I did my research. I didn't know about it, but I'm a fan now. I was watching some of your stuff on YouTube. Man, let me know if you need me. Love to have you on a part of one of the things, the classes that we do in January. So let's stay in contact. Let's not wait a couple of years. Let's stay in contact.
Absolutely. Thanks, everyone, for listening today. That was episode 292. We'll be back this time next week. As always, hit that support button on your podcast streaming platform if you'd like to send us any funds. And feel free to leave us that 5-star rating if you enjoyed today's episode. So we'll see you next week. Thanks, everyone.